Hello everybody, Reggie Time here for my first video in close to a month, I think. We're going to be playing some 10NL Snap, and we're going to be focusing on taking our time before we hit any action buttons that involve us putting chips in pot. I've been doing a decent amount of work on my game lately with a small group of like-minded individuals in a Discord group I'm in, and I feel I've made like lots of improvements to my game. It's certainly in terms of the way I think about hands, the way I think about poker. But I haven't always been executing it. Things have been going well result wise. I've been running pretty good and playing pretty good by and large. But I've been making a few too many large errors for my liking. Usually in biggish pots. Usually when either someone's taken the aggression from me or I wasn't the aggressor to begin with. And I don't feel I know. I've some of those mistakes come because I just rush tough decisions and rush things that like you're kind of anxious about, and I kind of stop thinking a little bit. And I guess that's a leak many of us have. And then when you review a hand, you're like, wow, that was a blunder. So what I've been doing like the last day or two, I've been consciously making sure I take more time before I put any chips in the pot, whether that's as a caller, whether that's as an aggressor. If it's an easy decision, it's like 7-2 off pre-fold quickly, no problem. But anytime I'm going to put chips in the pot, I've decided to just take a little bit more time, even if I kind of know what I want to do within a second or two. I tend to just do what I like, set the bet up, and then allow a few seconds just for that to sink in and make sure it's not a complete blunder. And I'm hoping this will regulate some of my like well, not regulate my thought processes, but just to stop myself from making big mistakes by acting too quickly. It's gone really well so far. I played like a couple of sessions of Sky that went really well. Played a 25 and 0 session on Snap last night that went pretty damn well. And we're going to try again this morning. It's only 10 and L, so it's going to be harder for me to give a fuck. But that's the whole point of doing this. It's give a fuck and just like try and put some good practices into my game rather than just like bosh, 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 bash out volume, with some bad autopilot. 'Cause I think when I think straight and think well, a lot of the stuff I think I've learned recently comes to me and I can use it in game. When I autopilot, a lot of the stuff that I've learned doesn't come through as well, and a lot of my old game comes through, which isn't terrible, but it's not as good as my current new A game. But I just don't produce my A game quite well enough at the moment because it's new to me. So I need that to sink in more before I kind of like let autopilot be a thing again. Um, so yeah, let's get cracking. Let's get cracking with the play, and we'll see what happens. If there's anything that we don't discuss too well during a hand, we will pull up the replayer and we'll um, try and go through it more in a more timely manner. Probably not going to talk too much during the hands because I'm going to be trying to think more, and then a lot of my talking. If there's something interesting, then we'll go back and review it after the hand. I think we're just likely to. I was going to say check call down versus this guy. I don't think he has a king when he checks back the turn. In fact, I think he's probably quite weak here. Question is, do we get any calls if we bet, or do we allow him to? I think we're going to go for a check raise here. I think. I just don't think he's very strong at all, and I don't think he's that likely to be having too many hands that can call a bet. Let's see what our opponent has. See if I was right or not. Pocket sixes. Maybe they call a bet on the river. Didn't feel like he was strong to me. The bet flop check turn felt to me like he's going to be more in the ace high, total air part of his range than he was anything else. That couldn't call a bet, but maybe bluffs the game once we give him some more rope. But sadly, he just had enough showdown value and didn't need to bluff. For those of you who have an interest in more than just the poker, and I know there are one or two of you, not a huge amount, but one or two. The reason I haven't been making videos lately is one, I've been working pretty damn hard on my game. Two, it's summer holidays, and we'll get back to this in a moment because we have this Queen 10 to play. I'm going to start with a check. Obviously, we're not going to be folding. I'm going to continue checking here. Betting and being raised would stink, given we held a lot of diamonds and a queen. Hard to imagine he's going to have too many hands that can. We're going to want to call 2 bets if we started value betting. I'm a bit worried he might have like a lone jack. I don't think he has a king and plays it this way. I'm going to check. And again, he checks back. Our opponent checks back, and we show the winner. Did we miss any value with that one? Seems like we probably can't have done if he didn't have a hand strong enough. Again, just pocket 8s. Here we have a flop that's not bad for our hand. We have 2 spades, but it's very good for the blinds. And we won't be c-betting here. Yeah, so going back to why the videos haven't been coming, I've been working very hard on my game. I haven't been feeling like I wanted to make too many videos. And then on top of that, it's the summer holidays, and the young man that I regularly work with, his respite hours increased, they double during the summer holidays. That takes quite a lot of time away from me in terms of like the times I can make videos, because I usually make them in the mornings. And then just yesterday, I started working with another new family who are very, very lovely. I really like them. Really like the young man I'm going to be working with, and that's given me another 10 hours work. So I'm doing 26 hours work per week now over 5 days. I mean, it's just a really easy fold here now with the Ace King. Over 5 days, and that's mostly working between 10:30 and 6 each day. Obviously not every day, because that would be more than 26 hours. But it really takes away from the times I can be making videos. So videos aren't going to be coming that thick and fast during the holidays. I can probably make them Mondays and Thursdays in the morning if I get up in time. But I have been playing quite late into the night, so I'm not always going to be up. But I'm up early this morning, so that would knock one out. For those people who are missing this gravelly voiced northern nit, and just see how it goes. If we get lots of views and likes and things, then we can absolutely try our hardest to do some more. If it doesn't go down too well, then I can go back to not making videos until I have more time to do them. This player pool isn't looking too clever at the moment. If we're just playing 4-handed, it's not good. Multi-way here. I think we're going to kick this off with a bet. And doesn't want to give free cards to 2 players on this board texture. Over cards, red ones, things like that. He should have too much 3x in his button flying range. So we're going to bet again, and he just instantly folds. How many players are in this pool right now? 14. That's not good. Ace 7 suited. Don't think we need to 3-bet as wide as that in this player pool, which is, in my experience, largely pretty damn weak tight and nitty. 3-betting light isn't going to be something they're going to see an awful lot of. Very easy fold here. Remember, we're going to defend the King 9. It's just a matter of how we're going to defend it. Do we defend it with a 3-bet against a regular who doesn't play a full stack? Or do we just call with it? It's 2.5x I would just call versus a 3x. I think we're going to go with a 3-bet. He does call. We get very disappointing flop, and he did call very, very quickly. You can have like plenty of ace highs here, like jack tens, king queens, that type of thing. We're going to stab once, and then we're only going to barrel if we hit a turn that we like. If he raises, a very easy fold. I think you can have like a lot of just Broadway combinations here, things like that. 10 jack, 9 10, queen jack. Raising this flop, I'm not that into that. Makes our decision very easy. That makes our life very easy. This guy has led the turn after we. Did we check back? I think maybe we did. I'm not sure. I can't remember. But we have an easy call anyway. There's a king. He doesn't have a jack. He wouldn't check that quick. We're going to turn our 10-7 into a bluff here. It's very unlikely our opponent has a very strong hand that can call. You would imagine he would definitely bet his jack X. If he's trapping and going for a check raise, then he's going to win another 14.4 big blinds, I guess. He just fold. We get a few more players. I don't have time to pause and wait for the pool to fill. 10-8 suited facing a middle position open. Too weak to call, not strong enough to 3-bet. This guy's isolated from the small blind. He's only made it 3 bigs, which I don't think is very good. So we're going to position on him. Better position to him. Our hand's going to be very easily dominated by him. So we're going to fold. Of course, my telephone rings when I'm making a video. I'll have to wait. It's fucking scary how often my phones ring or people knock at my door when I'm making a video. It happens more when I'm making a video than when I'm not. It's got to be a much higher frequency. It's very, very tilting. Very, very tilting indeed. 2 kings. This is a hand we're definitely going to be V-pipping. We're going to make this 12.5x. And our opponent folds. I think. Don't know if we're allowed to flat this out of the small blind. But we're going to do it anyway. Multi-way. Seems reasonable enough. Ace Jack. Cutoff versus button versus cutoff. Going to be a 3-bet. Opponent calls. We flop second pair. Turn a flush draw on this table. We check back on the ace jack. Could bet, I guess. Our hand doesn't need tons of protection on the king jack 4 board. I mean, we're either way ahead or way behind at this point. When he checks the game, we're going to start trying to get a little bit of value. He goes with the check raise, which doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. Pocket fours, king X. He can have pocket fours, of course. Of course, he can have stuff like king queen. We block king jack. I think we're going to have to pay this one off. Okay, we're not going to pay him off. We're certainly not going to bet again. I expect to win a lot here, but I don't expect to get called by worse very often. King 10, okay. We didn't win when I expected to. That was just maybe strangely played hand by our opponent, but whatevs. we've been dunked into here. We have top pair. Both of these guys don't have a ton of money. So I'm willing to play for stacks at this point. With our top pair. And King 10 was a funny old hand, wasn't it? And I bet nobody thought he had King 10 offsuit before the cards were on the backs. 3-bet the King 5 suited versus someone who may be a regular. Get a 4-bet. It's a very small 4-bet, but we have a super easy fold. And a 3-bet if Den goes for the ISO here on the button. He doesn't. Now we're just going to check and enjoy our free flop. And we're going to flop the nuts. And we're going to lead out here with an overbet. Get the call. Board pairs a turn, which isn't ideal, but we're going to pot the turn. And shove the river if, well, what a terrible run out that is for the flop the nuts or the virtual nuts. And then it goes, pair the board turn. Make the fuck off with that telephone. That is not being answered. There's 2 phone calls in the video. Right, don't let it break your concentration. I just don't think we have a value bet here anymore. Just like the board's paired and the flusher's got there. This stinks. Just check, I guess. Hope our opponent doesn't jam. Our opponent bets 1 big blind. I'm going to be a wimp here and just call. Deuces. What? What is that deuces all about? And now we're playing 3-handed, which is mightily unfortunate. How many people are now in the pool? 15. I mean, that just means there's an awful lot of regs in the pool, I guess. If there's 15 people, but we're playing 3-handed, or not regs necessarily, because clearly these players aren't great, but players who are multi-tabling, so they can't be at the same table and more than one on the same account, if you will. Hopefully we get through this bit. And why do people keep ringing me when I'm trying to fucking do stuff? Massively irritating. Easy 3-bet with the ace queen. Easy up on the 4s. 3-bet by a player I don't think I've ever seen in my life before. Yep, we're not going to defend 4s out of position in a spot where ranges are just weird, blind versus blind. Maybe folding the best time, was certainly folding equity, but out of position where ranges are weird against someone who's already shown aggression, then I don't think we're making a huge mistake folding the 4s. We're going to 4-bet our King Jack off here against 10. 5x suited will be defended to anything less than 3x. Fold if it's 3x or bigger. So you're going to defend it versus a min raise. And we're going to flop ourselves a flush draw on a board that significantly favours our opponent. Bet's pretty big. Seems perfectly reasonable to me. We have no reason to raise here, given that we don't have any of the strong hands in our range. We turn a flush, which is nice. I'm going to check again, try and get a check raise in. Now we're just going to lead pretty big and expect to get picked off by 2 pairs quite a lot. An opponent snap calls and we win. And he had King Jack. Wow, that's a loose call. We have an open ender, and even though this board favours the blinds, it favours the big blind way more than it does the small blind, so we're going to make a C bet. Turn a pair, which means we no longer need to bluff, and we can just check back. And we're folding versus a large bet, we're calling versus anything like 60% pot or less. Can we get any value for our 9-10? I think we probably can if we go small enough. Check back here and think about calling rivers. We bet 40% on the flop, so he can certainly have some ace-high floats in his range that reaches the turn. And again, now I think we just have a small value bet. Try and get called by his 8x, by his worst queen x. I think his ace x is going to lead the river quite often after we check back turn. Okay, is 7 small blind. I still haven't got my head around 3-betting medium pairs in the small blind. It's not something I feel comfortable with. But it is something that I know most people are doing these days, or most good regulars are doing these days. I'm still just going to flat because I am wimp. With a 13x with the ace queen up against up the ante, who has the green tag. Not in love with my 7s here, but we can't just check fold to 1 bet on this board. I'm quite enjoying that flop over here. Kick it off with around a 1/3 pot C bet. Yeah, called. 10 of hearts isn't ideal. This player can certainly have some flushes, I guess, but not too many. Don't want to bet here and get raised, I don't think. Check fold the 7s now. Don't want to bet fold. Don't really want to give a free card either, though. I think we're just going to allow a free card to come off. Doesn't bet. Now we are going to have an easy value bet on the river. Ace queen's just going to call. Don't want a 4-bet against a player I don't know. I think we're going to go with quite a big value bet on this river too. It's a very easy bet fold. You can certainly call with some worse hands. Although he snap folds on this occasion. One thing I have noticed now, I'm taking my time more. One of my big leaks used to be like autopilot missing value on rivers. And not getting the thin value. Not I didn't used to miss fat value, but not getting as much thin value. I'd like, oh, wimp out, check back, doesn't matter. That's been noticeably better. My river aggression frequencies, or however you want to describe them, have been noticeably better the last couple of days. And that's just purely due to me thinking things through, taking a bit more time. Being open at a 3-bet here. Is Jack's going to be a trivial fold? Not saying it's anywhere near perfect, because it certainly isn't, but it is a big improvement on where it is when I don't take as much time as perhaps I should. Just going to bet this flop very small with our pocket fours and flush draw. And a gut shot. It's very unlikely we have the best hand here with the fours. Maybe we do, but we certainly can't value bet again. And I don't think bluffing is going to work, so we just check back and try and hit something that helps. Our opponent snap bets the river, and we have a very easy decision. Interesting. With 3-bet loose light with the king 10 off, we get snap cut. Well, not snap cut. We get called by the small blind. And I think we want to continue with the bet here a lot. Don't think our 10 is going to be the best hand enough of the time to want to check back and then start calling turns. And it's certainly just benefit for some protection from like jacks, queens, things like that coming off on the turn if we just check back. Get check raise, which doesn't make a whole ton of sense. But that's fine by me. We're just going to fold our hand. I think I flat stuff like king, queen, and ace, queen on the button versus under the gun. Ace, jack just feels that little bit too weak to flat with, so just pop it into my 3-bet range instead. Get called. We flop a top pair on a very dry board, so things are looking promising. Why is my auto reload not working? That's annoying. It's working earlier, I'm sure it was. It's working now. Here, but the ace queen get a pretty miserable flop for our actual hand. He called very quickly, which tells me he doesn't have anything super good pre-flop. Doesn't feel like it's a board we're going to get a bunch of folds on. All his pocket pairs are going to call. Some of his other hands might float too. We're not going to see bet. Maybe we just get to take this a showdown and sometimes win against things like weaker Broadway combinations. Well, many of those weaker Broadway combinations just improved on that jack. We're just going to continue checking here. Just hope we have the best hand. Pocket nines. We'd need to fire many shells to make him fold that hand. So I'm glad we didn't triple. I'm glad we didn't start trying to bluff there, because it's not a spot where I would have tripled. Probably wouldn't even have doubled. His game this morning are actually playing like more kind of like reggish than the 25 vanilla I played last night, which was a lot of fun. It was a fun session. I'm not giving any spoilers as to why it was fun because I recorded the session and I hope to review it with my pals at some point over the weekend. But yeah, I think when we do review it, there'll be plenty of stimulating conversation and some laughter. Jack 5 suited. No. Queen 3 suited. No. With like, if I thought there was weaker players in the blinds, both of those hands could be an open. But we don't know enough about the players in this pool yet, and I can't get my HUD working. I don't even think I'd want my HUD to work. It was working, then for some reason it's just stopped again. I don't know if that's something I've done or if it's something Triple Eight have done with any updates or whatever. I don't know, but I don't care because I like having a database to analyse things, but I'm not that asked about having a HUD. This Queen 10 wants to see bet here, I think. Multi-way, I don't do a lot of c-bet bluffing multi-way, but this feels like a hand that wants to do that. I'm not feeling this pool is very reg heavy and nitty right now. The non all in 4-bet, leaving 11 behind. We're about to lose 41.9 big blinds, unless we get lucky. We did get lucky. Happy days. No idea what his non all in 4-bet was all about, leaving 11.9 bigs behind, but that's not for me to think about. He opened. I think we're just going to flat this on the button. As he didn't open, then we're going to open it ourselves. Led into on this board. We can call or race here. Let's give it a little bit. We don't know anything about our opponent. Don't even know where he's from. I think we need to race here. We'll just think to get 3-bet. I think he's in 9x/5x territory here. So we're going to double barrel now. Try and make him fold a 9 or a 5. And if he's got a king, then good for him. Excuse me. Strange isolation size here from the small blind. I'm just going to mind our own business and fuck off, though. This might not be an open, I don't know. This is just going to be a call. Not loving life with the ace-7, but probably going to check call one bet. Not loving having to see bet this queen-8 either, but we're going to do it. It's gone bet call. Just going to fold. That's way ahead of us already. Or between them, their combined equity is just going to be way too strong. Not going to continue on this 9 against this nitty regular. Don't think he's going to fold a jack. Don't think he's definitely not going to fold a king. He blocks a river. An easy fold. We call here if he bets. He's going to probe a lot of turns after we check back. I'm probably going to call river bricks too. Okay, that's literally the worst river in the deck. And now we're left with 5 high. 5 high isn't going to win. He doesn't have a 10. I'm probably just punting 10.7 bigs here, but 5 high isn't going to win, is it? So we need to bet. I'm going to wrap it up in a minute because I've got places to go and people to see. That is not the flop we wanted to see when we 3-bet the ace king. So we're just going to check, he's going to bet, and we're going to fold like a pussy. Maybe we check call 1 because we do a backdoor diamonds and some overs. Feels weak when we check call this and then the turns like the deuce of clubs and we just check fold, but I don't think we can fold just yet. That's a fun one. Let's hope we check and we don't see a bomb. I think I'm just going to fold here. Spewy Reg wants to raise. Spewy Reg really wants to raise. No. Disciplined. That might be a mistake. I'm interested. If anyone's got this far in the video, interested to see what they would have done on that turn. I think jamming would be horrific. Calling maybe has some merit. I don't know. Woohoo! 10-cent blast ticket. Can't wait to never use that. So there we go. End of the video. Hope you guys enjoyed it, especially those that got all the way through. Hope this video does well with the views and the likes, because that would certainly encourage me to make more. For as long as I play on AAA anyway. I tend to play these games a little bit, enjoy them for a bit, then get bored of them. So who knows? By Monday, I may well have said fuck Triple Eight and stop playing. But if I haven't, and if I'm awake on time on Monday, then we'll make another video. If not, who knows when I'll see you next. But take care, everybody. Have a great weekend, and bye bye for now.